Alright, so I said the next room was going to be this second room of the kitchen, and you can see I'm nowhere near close completed with the organizing, but I've gotten the platform cleared off enough so that we can remove this rug. It's falling apart, and unfortunately it's made out of synthetic material, so we can't use it the way that we're using a lot of the other bamboo rugs as a weed and grass suppressant out on the farm fields. So I was going to just take this off and cut it up for the burnable garbage because it's in such bad shape. But when I flipped it over, I realized that the bottom side is still clean, so I might just use this temporarily. It'll save me from having to clean off this wood platform in the meantime. I can just flip it over and then we'll have a much cleaner space for working. Underneath the rug and newspaper is solid wood planks, which is really nice. I'm pleased that it's not old tatami underneath here. Of course, we're going to have to uncover all of this before we can determine whether or not the wood will be able to be refinished and saved, but it's pretty nice. Of course, the real determining factor will be whether or not there's been too much water damage from these broken glass panels in this window for who knows how long. There's also obvious signs of a former roof leak in this corner. And if you remember earlier, there was a cupboard underneath this that was completely destroyed. So it's yet to be determined if the wood platform in this corner over here will be able to be saved. If you remember from my earlier video, we found this stash of old glass, and it seems to me that these pieces might fit that window perfectly. If so, that would mean that we might no longer have a breeze through the kitchen. As I'm looking through these dishes that we've matched up as best as we can, I'm seeing a lot of patterns that match with the dishes in the hallway, so we should be able to add a lot of these to larger dish sets. For reference, when I say the dish hallway, this is what I'm talking about. This whole hallway is filled with this glass case, or I guess 2 glass cases, that are just filled to the brim with more dishes, and I'm sure you can recognize a lot of these patterns from some of the dishes in the previous case. And as I recently learned, these boxes are also filled with more matching dishes. Boy, that was a heavy table to move. I didn't realize until I started moving it that it was a cooking table, but that makes sense because when we had the niece of the former owner over to visit, we happened to see her walking down the street and she introduced herself. She came into the house and explained where she would sit at this table when they used to always eat lunch as a family here, so it makes sense that it's a cooking table. Village announcements. Cool old newspapers underneath. And in case you're wondering why I'm doing most of this myself these last few videos, it's because Evan has been kind enough to be working at the field by himself, giving me some time to work on the house. So that's awesome. Thank you, Evan. And I'll be joining him in the field work again soon because we're ready to get our honeybees and start planting in the next few weeks. All right, that looks pretty good for a quick fix. Now I'm going to take a first pass through these drawers. We already showed you a quick look in these drawers on our video unboxing the kitchen, but this will be my first time going through and sort of determining what's interesting and what is not. And more progress. This box is all ceramic things that seem to go on the altars. So these are the items that are religious or spiritual, and I want to keep them separate from the rest of the ceramics so we don't get them confused. Over here we have all the cutlery. This is all stainless steel cutlery, and boy, I sure wish I'd gone through this house before furnishing the guest house because I did buy some new silverware for the guest house, and it would have been a lot cooler to reuse this silverware. It seems that they collected chopsticks from other ryokans and businesses, so I don't know what I'll do with these yet. Probably not going to be eating off of them, but it is a nice little collection. These two I've set aside because they're both from the Inokuchi neighborhood, which is a small part of our Kamiura neighborhood. So these businesses were really close to us. And we've got a whole stack of these chopstick inserts. These ones are flat, so they hadn't been used yet. And these are from Matsuoka Ryokan. So these are the chopstick inserts that they had printed for the bento box lunches that they served from here. This is the only silverware that seemed to be tarnishing, so I'm going to assume those are real silver. And these funny chopsticks over here are a material that I can't identify. They're not plastic and they're not wood, so I'm really not sure what they are. These stacks of little slips seem to be something that maybe they put with their to-go lunches. It says Imabari City on it. I have not been able to translate the rest, but I'm assuming that they were something to do with the lunches prepared here. Alright, we just had Mr. and Mrs. Koko Lensho Japan out to stay at our guest house this past weekend. So if you don't already follow their channel, go give them a follow. They just had a beautiful Akiya renovation done at their place a few hours from here. And their channel always has really good videos, which is helpful advice about life in Japan, life in the countryside, and Akiya in general. Anyway, his wife was able to read this and say that it is actually for the sashimi to-go packages. She said it basically says if you don't eat them within a certain amount of time because they are raw fish, that it would need to be cooked before consumed. So this is also a artifact from our former ryokan. And like the chopsticks, we have a big collection of these wooden spoons that were collected from different areas throughout Japan. So again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do exactly with these, but it's a nice collection, so we're just going to keep them all together for now. These are 2 Kirin beer bottle openers and 2 nice bottle caps made in Germany. Alright, I think a simple next step is going to be collecting all the aluminum pots and pans from the hallway and bringing them here. That way we can go through them and decide which we're going to keep. Probably not many of them. We don't like cooking with aluminum, but some of them are just cool and we'll keep them for decorations or other uses. The aluminum collection is growing, or for you Australians and English out there, aluminium. Alright, our afternoon video call just got rescheduled, so that means I've got a few more hours to work on this. I know I've said before that I don't like plastic, but even so, as we're going through these things and deciding what to keep and what to get rid of, anytime I look at something that's plastic and I think, oh hey, well, maybe I'll keep that, maybe we'll find a use for that, as soon as I touch it, it literally just snaps apart. It's so brittle. It just literally falls apart. This piece can't even support its own weight if I go to pick it up down here. Yay. Here's a few more nice things I've collected while cleaning out the dish hallway. This is brand new, nice ceramic with a wooden lid. Evan says this is probably for eating oden at the table. Another nice ceramic piece with an apple motif. Love these big water dispensers. This one is Tiger brand. This canteen looks pretty old and possibly military, so I'm going to ask someone about this as well as the military helmet that we found. And a whole tin of these ceramic fish and eggplant chopstick rests. Some more Ryokan artifacts. These are the little soy sauce squeezy fish. It's actually a pretty wide hallway, but it's just a little cramped for filming, so it's a little hard to show that this used to be an exterior wall of the house before one of the 1 or 2 remodeling and expansions that our 1940 built house has gone through. This on the right is a table hanging there with a hole in the middle. On the left it seems to be some sort of divider or maybe a rack for hanging fabric. Those are just up there for storage, but you can see the window and the wood paneling here. This originally would have been outside, but right now it's in the hallway that goes to the also later expanded kitchen. So I just wanted to show that real quick. It's pretty cool. Alright, we've made enough progress here that this is the first time I'm actually almost able to see the top of these glass cases. So much of this is is really just archaeology and piecing together the past and these people's lives. So it's exciting and it's fun and it's a heck of a lot of work, but it's also just like really intense. There's a lot of mystery and a lot of heavy emotions sort of come up, even though we didn't know these people, but we are piecing together their lives. Alright, as you can see, we're not quite done in this hallway. We still have probably a few more work days before we've even been able to go through all of this, but we're at a good stopping point for this video. I've gotten a lot of garbage cleaned out. We can at least see what's in all these shelves and on top of it, and we can access them. So that is a huge improvement from where we started. I'm pretty happy with how much we've gotten done so far. And I would appreciate it if you'd let me know in the comments if you saw anything during this video that stood out to you, anything you'd like to see better pictures of, or anything you'd like to see pop up in our Etsy shop. That would be great feedback. So just let me know what you're looking for, what you like about these videos, and what you'd like to see in the future. We're learning as we go, so all of that is really, really valuable information for us. Please feel free to comment, like, and share our videos, and we'll just keep moving on. Don't ever talk to me or my son again.